The march to the PBA World Championship has just one more stop. It's here at Executive Strike and Spare in Louisville, Kentucky for the PBA Odor-Eaters Open. 5 bowlers looking for big prize money and tour points head into our season-ending event next week near Detroit. First from Cincinnati, Ohio, appearing on his first TV show, looking for his first PBA title, Nick Vogelgesang. He has 10 career wins and looks to surpass $1 million in career earnings today from Tarpon Springs, Florida, Steve Hoskins. From Middleburg Heights, Ohio, near Cleveland, he has 6 career wins, including the PBA season opener in Wichita in October. Double D, Dave DeUntremont. Last season's PBA Rookie of the Year. Today, he makes his 3rd TV appearance and looks for his first career title from Greenville, South Carolina, Tommy Jones. And from Wichita, Kansas, he won his first title in Las Vegas in January and sits 9th in the PBA World Rankings, Lonnie Waliczek. Those are the 5 finalists here in Louisville today. Welcome, everyone. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson with our entire crew. Glad you could join us. Let's look at the matchup starting with Nick Vogelgesang in search of his first career title today. He is our wild card, Randy.
And right you are, Dave Ryan. Nick Vogelgesang won't have to wait long to bowl his first match on TV as he takes on Steve Hoskins in the wild card match. In semifinal number 1, fireballer Tommy Jones takes on Double D, Dave DeUntremont, who looks for his 7th career title. In the second semifinal, Lonnie Waliczek begins his quest for a 2nd title against the winner of the wild card match.
We are ready from Louisville. For the first time in his PBA career, Nick Vogelgesang will roll a ball on TV. From Cincinnati. Pretty good start. On the left of our TV pair.
Very good start considering his heart is on the outside of his shirt right now. First shot on TV ever. Not bad, Dave Ryan. High flush.
34-year-old Steve Hoskins from near Tampa. On the verge of $1 million career dollars. Much different path toward the pocket, but he's way light.
Looked very fast. Missing the head pin to the right, leaving the 1-2-4-8. You want to get the ball to the left side of the head pin.
Defeated Michael Fagan 3-1 in the round of 8 last night here to get to the show. And a nice cover on lane 16 for his spare. Randy, by the numbers, let's break it down. Nick and Steve.
Nick Vogelgesang a little higher average. Now remember, this is match play portion of the tournament. And when you see the spare conversion percentage, that's all spares including splits and washouts. As you can see, Steve Hoskins stayed out of trouble. The higher spare conversion.
Excellent win percentage on TV. In 30 career appearances. 3rd overall show on tour this year. 2nd on the domestic side, and that comes in high.
A couple of good quality shots out of the gate.
Well, the first ball went light. This one goes right through the schnozola. 4-6-10. Almost impossible to make. Get the ball over here. Try to slide that 6-pin over into the 4.
Tries to convert a very difficult spare. Sprays the pins across the deck, but misses the 4. And an open frame early for Steve Hoskins, the big Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, as we saw in the opening introductions, had the Super Bowl champion hat on there.
Huge Tampa Bay fan. He said his favorite player, Mike Allstott. I said, why is that, Steve? You guys are both about the same size.
Not close. Back to Vogelgesang. And through the nose it goes.
Come on, relax.
And
6-10.
Interesting, Nick Vogelgesang chose to use 2 different bowling balls. And last night, the problem late was the right lane. Nick Vogelgesang, power player, And that's putting it mildly. This guy doesn't leave anything in the bag. Goes to a straighter, low-friction spare ball.
Not great numbers for the multi-pin conversion rate, but he is able to nail that one. Little conversation with you, Randy.
Well, you know, last night, as you see what he did in match play, last night he missed back-to-back 4-pins in his last match. Made that 6-10 spare, looked up at me and said, see, Randy, I can make a spare.
Least amount of match play losses from the round of 32 on. Got Vogelgesang the wild card spot. That's where he is today, finally. First time on TV.
Not like
Again.
that.
3-9.
Deep press. Come on.
Hasn't competed in that many events. Just started as a rookie at 35 years old last year. So this is second season, and only has competed in 10 events this year, including Louisville.
But he said that he feels like he's at the top of his game right now. Brought his amateur career out to the PBA Tour.
Number one to deal with and covers nicely.
I'm making it easy on the spares, am I?
Nick Vogelgesang, a pretty good athlete too, Dave. You know, he pitched AA baseball until he blew his shoulder out. Still plays softball during the offseason.
Late 80s, got to AA with the Houston Astros organization. Now it's back to Hoskins.
Unique starting position of Steve Hoskins.
Much better results on lane 16. He's in the pocket and pats himself on the shoulder.
Take a look at this. Now I want you to watch his hand at the top of the swing. Look how it's wide open and behind him. He just kind of uncoils at the bottom, and that's where he gets all that power and revolutions. And look at what that bowling ball does to those 10 pins.
He's so far left. Great look from our crew up above how far left he is on the approach. Match wins this week, including the victory over Fagan, who had a pretty good week himself, didn't he?
And watch out for this Michael Fagan guy. He took care of me last week, beat Walter Ray Williams Jr. this week. This guy is a future star on our tour.
Trying to make a show. Little crossover. And gets a 6-pin up.
Missed a little bit further left that time when he left the split on that lane. Goes Brooklyn, leaves the 6-pin. Steve's got the adrenaline going. Says his feet are going a mile a minute.
Trying to stay perfect. Single pin conversion on his spare. Does that. He's second on tour in spare percentage overall numbers, right behind Walter Ray Williams Jr., who converted more than 85%. Steve at 83.79. Second best on our tour heading into this event. 12-pin lead. Fourth grade. And perfect for Vogelgesang on lane 16.
That's one. Come on, you gotta do.
Watch Nick Vogelgesang drift left to get out of the way. If you want to throw it right, walk to the left, and he really loads up right before release. He knew that one was good out of his hand.
Nick telling us last night he will not be fully satisfied until he wins a title. Great to get to his first show. That one high. And 3 and 6 up for him. His daughter, Haley Storm Vogelgesang, 6 years old. Storm because, middle name?
Well, he won a tournament using a storm ball. He said, well, you know.
Great reason to have Storm as your middle name. That'll make a great story her whole life, I think. Why Storm, Haley? Well, as her dad picks up his mark.
Oh, boy, come on. Now relax. You still have 240 left.
Steve Hoskins, 57th last week in North Carolina. Perfect here in Louisville today. He also made a show in Chicago and the Japan Cup to begin the season back in September.
Look at this now, the open hand at the top of the swing. And look at him just unleash at release. Since the inception of our new format in Peoria of 2001, he's only missed cashing 3 times. Hasn't won.
That is consistency, but no tournament titles, right.
Steve used to play a lot of golf, got into tennis recently, plays a lot of tennis, and a member of the Young Republicans in Pasco County, in Tarpon Springs, Florida, near Tampa.
His wife Lisa got to meet President Bush last fall, as a matter of fact. And they worked quite a bit with the governor, Jeb Bush of Florida. Working well here on a TV pair in Louisville is Steve Hoskins, a double, 5th and 6th frames. And he's just down 2 pins to Nick Vogelgesang. It's the wild card match from Louisville, Kentucky. One will advance to the semifinals. We find out next. History of the PBA Tour in the Commonwealth of Kentucky goes back to 1962 when Earl Johnson in Minneapolis, Minnesota won the first ever PBA event held here. Back in 2003 as well, Odor-Eaters Open. Welcome back, Dave and Randy, our entire crew. Power, Randy, is the key term when you're talking about the event this week.
Absolutely. I think power and strength a huge advantage this week because of the pattern that we used and because of the wood surface.
And it's pattern C. Combination means pretty good possibilities out of your scores.
Pattern C for cranker. Wood surface versus synthetics, 41 feet. And what happens when you bowl on wood, you get a worn area in the track because that's where all the amateurs play. So what the players will do is they'll move in and they'll use that as their break point. But because wood breaks down a lot faster, the players are going to be migrating left. Make sure you watch this. The further left they get, they're going to run out of room. You might see players start to loft the ball onto the lane to get it down the lane and into the 1-3 pocket.
Be sure to log on, PBA.com, for all the information with the PBA Tour and tickets available. There's still plenty of very good seats at the Taylor Sportsplex next week. It's the season-ending World Championship near Detroit. Back to Vogelgesang and a 4-pin.
And Nick brings speed bowling to a whole new level. Nick doesn't waste any time. He gets up there and he throws it. And look at how low the scores and the averages have been on pattern C, no matter what the surface is.
Speaking of speed, he threw it 90 miles an hour in high school. That was a baseball. Picks up his spare and signed a free agent contract for the Astros. We told you about the shoulder issues, though. Never had the surgery. And we asked him last night, do you regret not getting the operation? Hey, maybe you could have made the majors as a middle inning reliever. And, well, now you're earning about $4 million a year by today's baseball standards. He said, I don't look back ever.
Interesting.
Get some help.
And a nice messenger coming across to take care of the 10. This is what power does for you. Watch the head pin. Here it comes. Just saws the 10. And nice reaction.
Hoskins down a bid for a 3-bagger. 7th frame, 9-pin lead if he gets it.
Target.
The bucket, 2-4-5-8. Straight and hard at the 2 and the 5, or you can throw a hook ball into this. Steve will probably throw it straight and hard. Throw it right in the middle of that cluster.
Covers them all with wife Lisa watching back home, daughter Lindsay, who's a pretty good baseball player, we understand. Pitcher and plays second base. Son Ryan, son Matthew, just 1-year-old, their little ball of fire back in Florida.
Steve tells us that Lindsay is quite the athlete. He's got a wonderful family. His wife Lisa is just the nicest person you can ever meet, and their kids are just so cute and so wonderful. And right now, this guy is trying to win them $40,000.
On lane 15, had to hurry. 2-pin, missed the pocket barely. Came in light.
And only 1 300 game on this pattern this week by Michael Fagan. And this ball, you're going to watch it try to hook back to the pocket, and it loses energy and stops changing direction. And that's fast.
He throws that spare ball very hard. Picks up his mark. Now Vogelgesang looks for a double here, 8th frame, and a chance to go up by 16. First time he's ever been on TV. ESPN Instinct shows you. Aiming high.
You bowl like a chump.
Talk about power, the bent elbow and the cupped wrist. Watch what he does right there. Just absolutely curls that elbow in the wrist and then straightens it out at the bottom of the swing like throwing a yo-yo or a frisbee.
Picks up his mark.
Look at pitch. You got a pitch on that one.
Born in Lawrenceburg, Indiana.
Make a pitch here.
Not far from here, not far from Cincy, where he lives now. And as a boy, his parents would drop him off. When they went to the supermarket, he'd get dropped off at the bowling center. Pay the guy at the desk $5. Go ahead.
You could do that back then. You can't do that
now.
Still not making them good enough.
Well, and they're not bad either, though. He's making some decent shots. Keeping the ball around the 1-3 pocket. Ball just in slightly high, just leaving the 4-pin. Remember, we saw him miss 2 of these back-to-back last night.
That's right. And there it is, against Tommy Jones in the round of 8. He's got this one. Keep in mind, though, last night in the round of 8, he knew he was in the show. The pressure was significantly less. However, you want to still win and avoid playing in the wild card.
Right, it's one less game that you have to win on TV. But he is staying out of trouble. Thank you, Paul Kaler, our statistician.
Nice frame, foundation time. Hoskins hoping for a break across the deck. He won't get it.
Well, we'll give Steve Hoskins the spare here, which will give him 151 in the 8th. Conversion, 3 strikes in the 10th. He can shoot 201. If Nick Vogelgesang, or excuse me, 200. If Nick Vogelgesang strikes out in the 10th frame, he can shoot 206.
Come on, double.
Picks up his mark. All players throughout this season to march to the PBA World Championship. This is where our 5 bowlers in today's show in Louisville stand heading in to this final day. Lonnie Waliczek on the outside looking in. He won't make the top 8 and a berth into the Super 16. However, on the line today, 25,000 points to the winner. 20,000 for the runner-up. That's because the top 8 are already locked. Next week's big event, Taylor, Michigan, outside Detroit. The PBA World Championship, wrapping up our season. Hoskins wants to wrap up a win today here in the wild card. That's one step in the right direction.
One more will put pressure on Nick Vogelgesang and make him get up in the 10th frame and need 2 strikes to beat Steve Hoskins. You can't throw it any better than that for the money. He needs one more just like it.
Last TV show in Chicago. Beat Mike Devaney 254-211. Bowled really well. Lost eventually to Danny Wiseman 215-197. Wiseman won it all.
Strike here forces Nick Vogelgesang to throw at least 2 and count.
Needs it. Oh, 10 pin.
Dog it. Come on.
The shot.
Yeah, you're right. It's the only one that.
Shot in the 9th, and that shot right there, 2 of the best shots he's thrown the entire match, and all he had to show for it, or got to show for it, was that. 9. Boy, he knew it was good. As soon as he let it go, only to see that ring in 10.
Now Vogelgesang just needs himself a mark coming up. And in his first ever TV match, Nick Vogelgesang can get himself to the semifinals.
Strike on this ball and 5 pins on the next 2, he's a winner. If he doesn't strike here, has to have a mark.
36. Family and friends left messages on the cell phone last night. They're so excited about this moment. There's a 10 pin again.
Shoot a 10 pin to win a first match.
And I wonder if missing those 4 pins last night is going to factor into him shooting this 10 pin.
Come on, you made them all day.
Says he's on top of his game. Did it!
Good play, Nick. 6 pins to win.
Doesn't take his time. Not worried about the pressure too much, just goes right to it, Randy. Just needs 6.
Wow.
Brooklyn strike.
Wow.
To finish off Steve Hoskins.
Clean game, and that ball was not thrown very well. That had the possibilities of missing the headpin to the left.
2 more to go. Crosses over and goes Brooklyn to defeat Steve Hoskins by 5 pins. His first ever TV appearance, successful for now. He's off to the semifinals. Our other semifinal match, Tommy Jones in a bid for his first ever title against Dave DeAntremont. He won the first event of this tour season on the USA side in Wichita. Back at it again in Kentucky. Yesterday here in Louisville, the Odor-Eaters split with $1 million competition gave a fan a chance to make some big money. Mark Oquist from Jamestown, New York, made this strike for $10,000. Then it was a 7-10 split with $1 million on the line. Oquist barely missed, but he and wife Cheryl do go home to New York State $10,000 richer. They are the contestants from yesterday from Jamestown, New York, near Buffalo. And Steve Berger and Jim Healy from Odor-Eaters, thank you for their outstanding participation as well. Tommy Jones has made a 7-10. Just 4 times it's been done in match play all year. You know about making that 7-10. How difficult is it?
Well, you know, the 7-10's all luck if you make it. You just get up there and throw it hard. And luckily, I can throw it pretty hard, and I got lucky, and it bounced out.
Chance for a first career win today. You mentioned to me a few minutes ago before the show, you didn't feel as nervous as your other 2 career TV appearances. Why is that?
Well, the first two television shows I made, I wasn't that aggressive. Today, I'm going to go out and aggressive. I'm going to play my game, and he's going to have to bring his best to beat me.
What would it mean for your career to win a championship today, Tommy?
It's been a goal of mine since I was about 3 years old, so that's something I've always wanted to accomplish. If I can accomplish it today, it'll take a lot of pressure off of me.
Good luck today.
Thanks, Dave.
Randy's waited a long time, going for his first ever title.
I didn't have seats for him because the show was sold out.
Okay. Couldn't hear it.
Tommy Jones can bring it. He can throw it hard. He's got a lot of revs. And again, the theme of this show, power, and he's got all that. Just absolutely snapping on it at the bottom. Well, watch how far left Tommy Jones is. And here it comes. I told you, right over that left gutter. If he moves any further left, he's going to have to start getting it in the air.
Been a long time since we've seen Double D.
That's close.
On a television show. Since Wichita, where he won. Overcoming incredible health problems with surgery on his hand, a bad fall last year at the World Championships in Toledo, Ohio. And sidelined him for quite a while. But Double D returns to the television show again here today in Louisville. By the numbers, Randy, the breakdown.
Dave had a high average this week and bowled great on a really tough pattern. He likes to play inside. He's got the great power. Look what Tommy Jones did, though. He stayed out of trouble, made a lot of spares. That was the difference for him getting here. One thing I really love about Dave DeAntremont's game, from the waist up, very steady.
Okay. Haven't seen any of those this week.
Since Wichita, Dave struggled a little bit. He said kind of an equipment issue, didn't know which ball to go to at what time. Said physically, his physical game felt fine, but just wasn't making the right choices with bowling equipment.
Apparently has chosen much better this week. Picks up the 10-pin at his mark. Big Cleveland Browns and Indians fan his entire life near the Cleveland, Ohio, Middleburg Heights. This is Tommy Jones, Greenville, South Carolina. And in that state, Palmetto State, you either like Clemson or you like USC. He's a Gamecock guy. No debate about that. Lots of power. 9-pin.
When you play as deep as Tommy Jones is playing, and you're on the right lane, there's a ball return that you have to deal with because the ball return sits on the approach. Tommy Jones is standing in front of the ball return, modifying his approach, went from 5 steps to 3 steps to get deep enough on that lane.
Looks to jack up the single pin conversion spare number. Has the 10th best average on tour. Shows us why, picks up his mark. Strike and a spare for Tommy Jones, 24 years old. We've had 6 new champions. We see his march into the TV show day. The victory over Vogelgesang. Nick got the wild card spot. Now he's in the semis. 6 new champs on tour this year, including Chris Hayden in Orlando 2 weeks ago. 1 pin up there. And we asked Tommy last night, as he asked all the players who have never won a tournament, does that help you, give you motivation? And Tommy would agree. No question, seeing all the others win their first ever title gives them hope.
Yeah, it's a little inspiring. I'll tell you, for this guy, he told me that the guy that's been the most inspiring is Del Ballard Jr., he said without Del Ballard, he wouldn't be here today. For all the time that Del spent with Tommy, changing some things, working on slowing things down, not only in terms of his release, but also what's going on mentally in his brain.
All even. D'Entremont's 3rd frame. Hoping for a 7th career title. We showed to you at ESPN in sync. All 10 down for him.
It was really nice to see Dave D'Entremont come back from that terrible injury, winning the first tournament of the year in Wichita. Had the blood flow problem going to the bone, where the bone was actually dying. They corrected that. Dave worked really hard on his game, got back to where he is now, wins the first tournament of the year, back again on the telecast today.
4th frame. Strike here, he's up 10. Looks for a double. A little high in the 6-10 up.
Oh, let it go, Dave.
We've talked about it before. On a tough pattern, you got to let the ball go. You can't grab it or pinch it at the bottom of the swing. That gets the ball to do this. Look at those eyes staring at the target.
Picks up his mark. He avoided surgery on that bone in his hand you mentioned for 4 years, but eventually just couldn't put it off because of the damage it was doing and the blood flow issues. 2nd TV show of the year for Tommy Jones, last year's Rookie of the Year. He's 0-2 lifetime on TV with a 207 average, so he's got some room for improvement there. On the bright lights on TV day. Through the nose.
See, and that's the problem. He starts in front of the ball return, actually has to start moving the ball first before his feet start to go. 3-step approach. And the one thing that is hard to do when you're standing in front of the ball return is throw it hard. You just don't have the momentum going to the foul line.
Tough conversion on this spare. Leaves 3.
Watch the swing of Tommy Jones, real steep like we talked about. Go ahead and freeze it right there. Look how steep that is. But when you have a high rev rate, you can get steep. And Dave D'Entremont, freeze it right there. Again, high backswing, another power player, another high rev rate player. One thing they both have in common, they both post shots. They get to the foul line real solid.
Speaking of solid, perfect ball in the pocket on lane 15 for Jones.
He's got more room on that lane in terms of approach, so he can get his body going a little bit faster and doesn't have to pull down with the arm swing. A little bit easier for him to make better shots on the left lane.
Back to Dave Diachima. That comes in high, missed the pocket. And the 6-pin still stands.
Early friction created in the front part of the lane. We call it the heads. The first 15 feet does not allow that bowling ball to push to the right.
Picks up his mark. We wanted to give thanks today to Dr. Harry Hoyen, who performed the surgery on his wrist and top of his hand, enabling him to continue his bowling career. Otherwise, he would have had to retire early. Now he hurt his knee and ankle in a fall at a hotel down some stairs in Toledo at the World Championships. Hasn't been an easy go for him over the last 18 months or so. There's a 4.
See, and those of you watching at home are wondering, well, why don't they just throw the ball a little bit further to the right? Well, the problem is with this pattern, if you get it outside the track area, and the track area being about the 9th board to the 12th board on the right side, if you get it right of there, the ball's going to hang.
Picks up his mark. He began the season a tremendous start by winning in Wichita. Now the second to last event of the year. He'd like to win again in Louisville, Kentucky. Jones stands in the way. In 1995, our own Randy Peterson made it to the championship match against Mark Williams at the Ebonite Kentucky Classic. Impressively, in 42 games that week, Randy averaged .222, had a field best 19-4-1 match play record, and led the event by 278 pins. He'd go on to beat Mark Williams by over 40 pins and earn his 11th PBA title.
Hello and welcome back to Executive Strike and Spare Lanes in Louisville, Kentucky. And even back in 1995, Dave Ryan, we were playing the deep inside line here. Well, from old school to new school, Tommy Jones and our Dexter approach. Tommy Jones, the prototypical power player. Look at the height of the backswing, steep, but he's got a high rev rate because the elbow bending and the cupped wrist. Now watch this. Watch the ball come away from him. You see how the ball's away from him? He's got all this room. His body goes left, swing goes right, and this is what Don Johnson calls B for victory. Tight to the ankle for leverage. He told me he changed his sole for bowling on wood approaches. He needed the extra traction this week.
Tommy Jones down 15, the subject of this week's Dexter approach. Just the 4th time all year we've had the wood approaches. Last time on Long Island, start to finish in 1 center. We had them in Latham for most of the play up until the arena final at the Siena College campus in Loudonville, New York. That was on the via synthetic surfaces. 10 pin for Jones.
And a great shot on the right lane for Tommy, who was on a strike. Both players having problems getting to the pocket, and then when they do, the carry's terrible.
Picks up his mark and cannot get a double. We've only had one of those so far today in the first 2 matches total. PBA World Championship next week here on ESPN. 12:30 Eastern Time. It wraps up our entire 2002-2003 PBA season. Record amount of money on the line, and these 8 bowlers are locked in. From Walter Ray to Danny Wiseman, a spot into the Super 16. They bypass all qualifying and get directly there.
And I can tell you from the other 280 or so, the rest of us that have to qualify, those top 8 guys all have bullseyes on their backs.
Means a great deal both for them and for the other bowlers. Great point, Randy.
That was much better than the last one.
I'm sure like that, did Tommy Jones.
Yeah, and he was being sarcastic, too, because the one before that was just as good.
Strikes in the 7th. Diachima works on a spare here, up 15 pins. 7th frame. Through the nose, 6-10.
That ball just will not go down the lane.
Dave's throwing a very high friction bowling ball, and this ball checks early, does not move right on him. Watch it grab there around the 45-foot mark and just go left. He's got to go either deeper with his feet or change balls and go to something that's a little less aggressive.
So kind of a grind here for each. No one can get going with any sort of consistency in terms of strikes. And we talked about just one double so far. That's it. To get here, Brad Angelo, who will win, it appears, the PBA Rookie of the Year honor. That was the best of 7 round of 32 all the way through his win over Mike Edwards. 3-0 round of 8 here last night in Louisville. Much better.
And to me, that ball looked like it was faster. And one way to combat hook is throwing it harder. You can control friction by the speed of the shot. The faster you throw it, the less friction's created. That ball holds line, gets to the 1-3, and strikes.
Can Jones respond now on the right of our TV pair, trying just for the second double between these two matches of the day? He's down 13. Strike here in the 8th, and he'll be down 3 pins. Needs it.
Help on the 10-pin! It's the leaner for the second double of the day. He gets the leaner. Watch the 6-pin going, lays in the channel, and the head of the 6-pin just leans on the 10. Get out of there.
Tommy's had a consistent year despite lack of a title.
Getting it from the back, Kirk.
Talking to Kirk Von Kruger, our tournament director.
Pin in the left gutter or channel, if you will. It has to be removed.
Yep, just gets that cleared out.
On the right lane.
17 of the 19 events prior to this one he has cashed out. Made match play in 14 of 19. Now reset. Pins on lane 16. So he has had a very good year in terms of being right there on the cusp of victory. Still has not won that first ever title.
Well, he wasn't voted Rookie of the Year by accident. The guy's very consistent out here, and it's just a matter of time before Tommy Jones wins out here.
He told us last night he realizes from his first 2 TV experiences how much the lights on TV day can wreak havoc with the oil. So it takes adjustments, and he's making the proper adjustments now.
Well, he's using his power and his strength to his advantage by getting the ball to come a little bit lighter in the pocket.
First 3-bagger of the day between our 2 matches. That was a big one in the 9th foundation frame. Now DeAntremont's turn. Looks for a double. 9th frame. Down 7. Again a tie. And a 4-pin.
And again, just a little bit firmer, and that ball holds line. Right now, Tommy Jones in the driver's seat, 3 strikes in a row. He can strike out for 222. With a conversion here, Dave DeAntremont, the best he can shoot, 205.
Does just that, converts the spare for his mark on ABC. Tiger's almost there again.
Tiger Woods going against David Toms, 36 holes today.
Fun to watch here. Lots of action. 10-pin. DeAntremont.
This wasn't really bad, 190.
Yeah, it really wasn't. And the same thing that did in Steve Hoskins in the previous match looks like it's going to do in Dave DeAntremont right here. With a spare and a strike, he's going to shoot 194. Tommy Jones needs to stay clean in the 10th.
Dave told us last night he loves oil pattern C, really his wheelhouse pattern, enabling the power game to really work full tilt for him. But a break here, a break there, despite throwing some good balls. And he will not advance off to the final, it appears. Trip 4-pin late.
Called the fill ball.
Yeah, you hear Dave DeAntremont say it's called the fill ball, and what that means is the fill shot, which doesn't matter. A lot of times you always strike on the fill shot, especially when you've had bad carry for the entire game.
That's all Tommy Jones needs now.
Very interesting way Tommy puts his hand in the ball. He puts his thumb in first, kind of sideways, rotates his hand back around, puts his fingers in last.
Feet to success for Jones as he blisters the rack. And he'll be a winner.
Watch this. What a beautiful shot. Just makes the nice touch on it. And this ball ends up perfect.
Best ball today I think we've seen in the first 2 matches. That was flush in the puck.
Tommy just takes his spare ball out, throws the Heat, the Odor-Eaters ball. And I'm so happy that Tommy's with Odor-Eaters, because if you've ever smelled Tommy's shoes, it's not pretty.
That's all he needed. First time ever he's won on TV. Now he's 1 match shy of his first ever championship. He takes care of Dave DiAntrima, 208 to 194, advancing off to the final. Dave DiAntrima, who started the season so well, trying to finish in style against the youngster Tommy Jones, the guy I call Hot Shot. Got to win today. There's a shot of the bell of Louisville, the oldest running stern-driven steamboat in existence today. Here we're in Louisville, Kentucky, the Odor-Eaters Open. All bowlers throughout this season trying to get to the top 8. That bypasses qualifying, goes right to the Super 16 at next week's season-ending World Championship. Lonnie Waliczek on the outside looking in for that event, trying to win today. And the subject of this week's Miller High Life, Get to Know Them.
Lonnie Waliczek. I'm from Wichita, Kansas, born and raised. My father has been in the bowling business since I was born. He actually started the Wichita State bowling program. My greatest moment, the first show that I made, Chattanooga, Tennessee. If I was not a bowler, I think I'd like to be some sort of musician. Bob Dylan, Van Morrison, Paul Simon. I take a long time when I bowl, and I take a hard time in the locker room from a lot of the guys for the amount of time that I take when I bowl. I'm a little bit neurotic, and I haven't been diagnosed as obsessive compulsive, but you know, there's some of that in me. My goals are definitely to be a much more consistent player. I want to get to the shows, give myself more opportunities.
Lonnie Waliczek, subject of this week's Miller High Life, Get to Know Him. He's never taken on anyone in our final 5 here from Louisville on TV in his career until today. That will change, though. His 6th year on tour. This is his 4th show of the season, and even 2-2 so far, including a championship in Las Vegas and the Storm Clask's first ever title. Now he's in the semifinals against our wild card winner, Nick Vogelgesang, bidding for his first title today. Last season in Louisville, Pete Weber took on Michael Haugen Jr. in a championship match that was filled with action and emotion. With both players matching each other strike for strike, it was Weber who would outduel the young Haugen and let him know. Haugen did not get his first title, but Pete did, his 27th. Pete was the winner last week in Burlington, North Carolina. Nick Vogelgesang looking for his first ever title today, joined now by Randy Peters.
Thanks, Dave. Nick, you had to be incredibly nervous your first match, first time ever on television. You come away with a win. How do you feel now?
I'm going to take it 1 step at a time, go out and have some fun.
Tell me a little bit about what's happening with the lane conditions. The scores are low, the lanes look tough. How are you going to attack the condition, and what are your feelings going into the match against Lonnie Waliczek?
On the right lane, I'm going to chase the shot in, and on the left lane, I got a pretty decent shot outside, so I'm going to deal with what I got right now. Bowling Lonnie. Lonnie's a great player, and roll the dice, see what happens.
Thanks, Nick. Good luck. Dave Ryan, 1 more win, and Nick Vogelgesang could be bowling for his first title ever.
He saw his daughter, Haley Storm Vogelgesang, a few moments ago. Just 6 years old, taking in Dad's first ever
Nugget,
TV
Daddy
show.
loves you. Taylor, you keep those ladies calm.
Couple words back home for Lonnie. Nugget is his daughter, we believe, 2.5-year-old Olivia. Wife Amy is 5 months pregnant with her second child back home in Kansas. And Waliczek, tough start on lane 15.
Lonnie Waliczek, even though he's a power player, I call him a power stroker. You know, the theme today, power. Lonnie throws probably the least amount of ball out of our 5 guys today. Still plenty on it and loves to play the deep inside line. Switching to the low friction spare ball.
Picks up his mark. Number 2 qualifier. He can be the 3rd ever to win from the number 2 spot. Chris Barnes did it earlier in his career. Pete Weber did it last week in North Carolina. And Vogelgesang some trouble on lane 16.
A little bit faster than that.
And don't blink because you'll miss this guy throwing a shot. He is so fast. He's going to throw it really hard at the 4-7. Ooh.
Trying to kick it across the deck. And open frame for Vogelgesang. None of the bowlers really, Randy, able to catch fire today as we check out by the numbers between these two.
Yeah, but Lonnie Waliczek caught fire and was on fire the entire week. Look at that average. 14 pins a game higher than Nick Vogelgesang.
That comes in high.
Back-to-back open for splits. Still using 2 different bowling balls.
There he is.
I'm a bit surprised this is a little bit further right than I think he should be. We saw where Tommy Jones was playing on that left lane, had some nice success. Some 10 boards left of where that shot was thrown.
Again, trying to kick it across deck to pick up a difficult mark. However, back-to-back opens to start off the semifinal match. And Randy, you talked to him just a few moments ago about being nervous and how he could apply his feelings toward his semi-final match with Waliczek. So far, a tough start.
Obviously not the start he was looking for. He did get practice. And, you know, the lanes have changed a lot since the last time he's been on.
7 pin for Lonnie.
Ball comes in just a pinch light, leaving the shaker 7. Lonnie Waliczek's really changed his work ethic, his practice. As you see, his spare conversion rate, single pins, 100%.
Continues to stay perfect with a single pin conversion percentage. To get here, he had to take care of Brian Voss, who was in a bid to make his second straight show. Voss made the final last week in North Carolina. And Lonnie won that match in the best of 5, 3-0.
Worked on his physical game, made some changes with that. Got his backswing down a little bit by keeping his upper body back more, keeping his shoulders back. Had a great week, qualifying 2nd.
Mentioned that number a few moments ago. Looking to become the 3rd number 2. That one's in the pocket on lane 15.
By lowering his backswing, it changed the steepness of his swing. He got to swing flatter. He gave him a lot more room at the bottom to do what he wanted to do to the bowling ball at release. That and getting his hand in a little bit better position at the top of the swing. He told me those are his keys.
Wasting no time, going Brooklyn for a strike. There's Nick Vogelgesang.
Put that ball away.
L. Brooklyn. Right now, Nick struggling with ball reaction. With much hand as power that he has, strikes a couple more times, but you take that Brooklyn out of the equation. He's 2 for 2 on each lane, or 2 strikes rather on each lane.
Had to hurry, and a 2-pin.
Sparable.
And he's playing a part of the lane where nobody's at right now, especially on the left lane. And with as strong as he is and as much hand as he has, I would have thought he would have taken a ball out that's maybe a little less aggressive and just moved further left and maybe just got his speed down a little bit.
Picks up a 2-pin for a mark after the 2 opens to begin this match.
Now look how far left he is on the right lane. Aggressive ball, foot sliding in the left gutter right there. Now watch this on the right lane. That is some 15 boards right where he's sliding at the foul line.
Waliczek bid for a 32-pin lead. Does he get help with it? And no in the fourth frame. Coming to you from Executive Strike and Spare, Louisville, Kentucky. It's a jump shot away from Freedom Hall and the Expo Center here and the airport right next to us. Dave and Randy, our entire PBA ESPN crew. Live coverage continuing the march to the World Championship. Next week, Taylor Sportsplex in suburban Detroit.
And you say a stone's throw to Freedom Hall, the Louisville Cardinals, but a lot of Kentucky Wildcat fans here.
Yes, surprisingly.
Lots.
Lexington isn't that far. Cincinnati isn't that far.
Yes. The same guy every day keeps telling me, Randy, 17-0. The last 17 straight wins for Kentucky. I'm like, okay.
A lot of our crew took in the Louisville, East Carolina game, Conference USA game here yesterday, early in the afternoon. We're right next to them. High is Waliczek on that ball, 6-10 up.
Got a little bit of bounce there. That ball doesn't push as far to the right. Gets the nice break, only leaving the 6-10. And Lonnie's looking at that going, what do I have to do to get the ball to push further to the right?
Multi-pin conversion number. All players trying to get themselves in great position to do well near Detroit. And that's near Hockeytown, USA. Speaking of those Red Wings, they're on the air tonight, ESPN 2, 6 o'clock Eastern time against Schaumburg and the Coyotes. The Pens and Stars as well on ESPN tonight. NHL coming your way.
Finally got a strike on that lane.
Finally got a strike on the right.
See if you can't capitalize now.
Looks for a double here, 6th frame. While Lonnie focuses.
And it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to move in or not. But maybe Nick knows something that nobody else does. Oh,
10 pin.
Boy, that
Good
was a
pitch.
nice shot.
Good pitch.
So while the other guys are moving
Right where I
left
want to throw it.
and moving deeper, Nick's staying out. He's throwing this ball. He's getting it right of the track and trying to play the oil that's just outside the 8-9 board.
Heard him say good pitch. Remember his minor league days. Got a loft on that spare ball. Picks up his mark.
Makes a good pitch there, Nick.
6th frame. But still he's down 20 pins to Lonnie Waliczek from Wichita. There's Haley Storm, Nick Vogelgesang's 6-year-old daughter. One of 5 kids Nick has. The others watching, Kyle, Nick, Tiffany, and Tammy today. Days in on the road, our PBA schedule all leading to the World Championship. Taylor Sportsplex in suburban Detroit next week. 12:30 Eastern time, we'll have it for you on ESPN. Log on, PBA.com, and go to the arena ticket link. There are great seats still available. Regionals to mention as well from North Olmsted, Ohio, and Newport Richey, Florida. Our Days in on the road this week from Louisville.
During the break, I had a chance to talk with young Michael Fagan, future star on our tour, and he bowled on 15 and 16 last night, and he told me that the right lane has a little hang, and the left lane was actually the better of the 2 lanes.
10-pin Waliczek.
And I asked him, I said, well, based on what you're seeing, what do you think the move is? He said, keep moving in, and if you have to, back your hand out, which means cut your rev rate down a little bit to keep the ball in line.
Lonnie telling us winning his first ever title hasn't changed him much. As you could certainly determine from the Miller High Life Get to Know Him this week, he's a mellow character. Very soft-spoken, very easygoing. Right now, 19-pin lead in this second semifinal.
Very soft-spoken until he gets into this situation here. As you see what his strike percentage is all season long, top 10. But when he gets on TV, and only 1 strike in his last 6 attempts, but he's the guy that's bowling the clean game. When he gets on television, this guy's like Mount Vesuvius.
Explodes there.
And I'll never forget what he said. What he said in Vegas when he won. He threw that one shot, and he yelled, "Hook in that oil blue ball." I thought that was fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, that ball, dead flush. 10-pin, the last to go. Clean game. Up by 19, 7th frame. Nick Vogelgesang.
Works on a spare. Into the pocket, and 10 in the pit for Nick Vogelgesang.
3-bagger.
Some other bowlers, the bottom of your screen, starting with Doug Kent, last year's World Championship winner.
Kurt.
That was in
Re-rack,
Toledo, though. He asked Kurt Von Kruger, tournament director, for a re-rack.
All the guys that got eliminated, they're on their way to Detroit to gear up for the big one next week.
You're driving there. How long a drive is that?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably about 5 hours. There's Stevie Wilson, struggling of late. Talked with him a little bit about his game going into this week. Had a nice tournament this week, something to build on for the World Championship.
Looks for double, 8 frame. Oh my goodness, the 7-10.
No light. Hey, if I make it, do I get the million?
That's nice, Nick. If Nick wants to know if he makes this, if he gets the $1 million from Odor-Eaters. If anybody can make this, this guy can. Watch this heat.
Just 3 all-time on TV. And a jacket. Oh, takes out the 10.
Well, it was a good shot.
Good pitches there, Nick.
The ball came in light, half pocket. This is, even in slow motion, that's really fast. Gosh.
35 miles an hour, you think? It's got to be up there.
35, probably not. I would say probably 28 or 29.
All right, that's up there. Doesn't happen much. No, Tommy Jones did it. Plus 1%. 7-pin here. Waliczek.
And Lonnie right now just doing what he has to do, keeping the ball in play, filling frames. Still no doubles, but he's keeping the ball around the pocket.
Try to take advantage of 3 Vogelgesang open frames. First, second, and now the 8th. 7-pin stays consistent. And a big 31-pin lead. Last time on TV in Vegas, he defeated our Tim Chris, who works with us on our TV track. 237, 213. And Patrick Allen for the title, 260 to 246. Saw the max scores in this semifinal. 10-pin again.
Wow. Well, you heard Dave DeAnchemont say when he shot 190, that's a pretty good 190 game. And Lonnie is doing the same thing. Keeping the ball around the 1-3 pocket, and they're just not going down.
But when your opponent has 3 opens, that's going to be enough.
Yeah, he's just in cruise control right now.
Keep working.
Well, Nick Vogelgesang can strike out for 185, which would force Lonnie to mark in the 10.
Not likely, because Nick has not doubled all day.
Good point.
There's one.
Oh, pretty good last half of this game.
Certainly happy about that.
Really did.
Heather McDaniel, fiance of Nick Vogelgesang, and Haley Storm Vogelgesang. Nick wanted to be sure we give a shout out to Willard and Jolene, his adoptive parents, Mary and Keith, his birth mom. Longtime friend Dan Gartman from Cincinnati.
And a good lesson learned today.
I will strike on this lane one day.
For Nick. Yes, that's true. He has not struck on that lane the entire game. But a good lesson for him. He's going to take this, apply it, go on to next week, work during the off season, and come back with maybe a little vengeance next year.
First ever TV appearance for Nick Vogelgesang, and Lonnie Waliczek has wrapped up this match. Nick only earning just about $8,800 in 9 events total coming into this one. Well, he's wrapped up $10,000 by taking at least 3rd place. Lonnie Waliczek has secured himself at least $20,000, perhaps $40,000 if he can win this tournament title. Trip 10 goes down.
Hey, you want to know how you make the 7-10? Well, watch what happens here. The pin goes into the back and comes out, gets the 10 pin. Same kind of idea for the 7-10. You throw hard at one, you get one to pop out and get over there and get after the other, whether you're shooting the 7 pin or the 10 pin.
Here, Lonnie rooting himself on. That's because Lonnie Waliczek works very hard as a sports psychologist. He's getting himself prepared mentally for the next round. And that'll be against Tommy Jones for the championship in Louisville today. This is the third year the Executive Strike and Spare has hosted a PBA event. Great facility here in Louisville, Kentucky, right next to Freedom Hall and the Louisville International Airport. Louisville, Kentucky, Dave and Randy, our entire ESPN PBA crew live coverage continues the march to the World Championship. We have one double, one four-bagger, so kind of struggles in the first three matches with all of our bowlers. Still, you have somehow a prediction. You always kind of bag me on this, but this week you have one. What is it?
Well, first of all, what you're going to see in the title match, in my opinion, is the future of professional bowling. Tommy Jones, Lonnie Waliczek. But my prediction is simple. Tommy Jones was the only player to throw 4 in a row. I like his ball reaction the best, and I'm going to go with Tommy Jones.
All right, pencil it in. From Randy Peterson, our Geico Direct Championship recap.
The wild card match, Nick Vogelgesang against Steve Hoskins. Watch the messenger. Nick won 195-190. Key game, the clean game was his key. Now Tommy Jones taking on Dave Nianchima, semifinal number 1 with the late 4-bagger. And the match you just saw, Lonnie Waliczek taking on Nick Vogelgesang, throwing shots like this, staying clean, again the key.
Tommy Jones trying to win his first ever title. Along with the other bowlers in the first 3 matches have combined just a total of 24 strikes. Can Tommy Jones figure out the oil pattern and how pattern C is broken down in our championship round? Lonnie Waliczek has his own ideas. The title match is next. One career title and one career trophy between our 2 finalists today here in Louisville. Perhaps some history changes today. Tommy Jones bidding for his first ever title. Tommy, a moment ago, Randy up in the booth predicted that you'd be able to win this match and survive based on how you respond to the oil pattern. Are you confident heading into your final against Lonnie?
Yeah, Lonnie's a great bowler, and he won his first title this year, so I'm sure he has some confidence. But I am comfortable playing where I'm playing, and I'm going to go out and be aggressive, and I'm going to make the best shots I can make to take this one home.
Best of luck to you. Lonnie, a moment ago you said a little struggle with the oil pattern trying to figure it out. You only had 24 total strikes in all of our matches today on TV. Why the struggles, and how do you do in the final? How do you adjust?
Well, I think the reason for the struggles is the front part of the lane's pretty dry, the back part of the lane's pretty tight. I got to bowl a good game against Tommy. He looks like he's got a good reaction. I think if I make a hand position change, I should be okay. Maybe we'll get a good match out of this.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Randy won in Vegas, now trying to win here in Louisville today. Lonnie Waliczek.
Boy, and you can really see what a win does for your confidence, and Lonnie Waliczek certainly has that now. You can see it in his demeanor, in his eyes. Tommy's going to have his hands full. Lonnie did make the ball change on the right lane. I watched him in practice. Ball reaction on the right lane looked much better. A little high on the left lane, leaving the 3-pin. Lonnie trying also to use a little different hand position.
We have had tournaments, Randy, where the bowlers just have struggled on TV trying to find the right path to the pocket. It's not easy. Only 1 game total over 200 in all of our matches on TV day here from Louisville.
And again, Tommy Jones' ball reaction looked the best out of all 5 players.
Very close to what he earned last year already. But he stands to go way over that. He's clinched at least $20,000. Watch for it. He wants it all on a title. 10 pin.
Shot.
Knows he had a good ball.
Yes, it was. In the words of Norm Duke, some days you're the dog, some days you're the hydrant. And right now, Tommy Jones looking to convert the 10-pin. Great shot to start the match.
Just a 208 in his first game today on TV. We'd like to improve on that, and we match up by the numbers, Randy.
Mr. Waliczek, the number 2 seed with the higher average, staying out of trouble. The spare conversion percentage, that also helps the average. Tommy Jones, remember, top 10 strike percentage this year on the tour. This guy can throw strikes. He throws a lot of them.
On pattern C, we saw the numbers and the strikes. There's one. For Tommy Jones, the last by the numbers board we saw, updated through our first match for each bowler here on TV today.
Boy, it's so nice to be young. I remember back when. Now, youth and strength, this guy's advantage, the open shoulders, the power, throwing it nice and hard, keep the ball in line on the left lane.
Comes through the nose, though, on the right, lane 16. 3-6.
Lonnie doesn't throw it near as hard as Tommy Jones does. Remember what we talked about with ball speed. The softer you are, the more the ball has a chance to grip the lane and hook. I've got Michael Fagan and Brian Waliczek, Lonnie's brother, standing right next to the booth, and I asked Brian, what do you think what kind of adjustments do you think Lonnie's going to make with his hand? And he told me he was just going to back his hand out of it a little bit, get a little bit softer because the front part of the lane is burning up.
They are roommates, brothers, Brian and Lonnie Waliczek. Brian, a rookie on our tour. Another promising young player.
He's had a nice year, his first year out. Nice kid. I'm not saying that just because he's standing here.
But he appreciates it with a thumbs up.
They're good guys.
Ball change here. Trying to tuck into the pocket 10-pin.
Now absolutely. You see how that ball pushed further down the lane, pushed further right, makes the nice back end turn. Unfortunately, the result, ring and 10.
Single pin numbers of the 19 events he's bowled in heading into this one. He's capped out at 17. For sure, so a very consistent year for Lonnie as he picks up that mark, and that was his goal, as he told us last night, heading into this season. Not only to win his first title, but to be consistent start to finish, and he certainly accomplished that.
Yeah, and you don't think Lonnie's winning or learning each and every week? This is his best week ever on a wood surface.
We mentioned Jones 208 first game. Lonnie just a 191, so it has been a struggle, not big scores. On pattern C, 10-pin for Jones.
This is the most frustrating part of our sport. You're making quality shots, and you get 9.
6 new bowlers. 6 new champions this year on tour, including Hayden, as we mentioned, in Orlando. Just 2 weeks ago, with the spare ball, picks up his 10-pin and his mark. Tommy Jones would love nothing more today than to become number 7. Lonnie Waliczek included on that list. The Storm Classic in Vegas, and perhaps where the most impact was Brian Smith from Roseburg, Oregon, and the Reno Masters event. A major for his first ever title.
100,000 peppers.
Whew.
Not bad.
$40,000 on the line today. 120 next week to the big winner. World Championship.
Hello.
Liked it. 10-pin still up.
And going with loft. He's got loft on the left lane now. He's finally moved far enough left to where he has to clear the left gutter. That ball is around just slightly inside 6th arrow on the left. That's deep.
With power. Plenty of speed with the Odor-Eaters spare ball at the PBA Odor-Eaters Open here in Louisville, Kentucky. Fans love what they've seen so far. Tommy Jones would love to see his first ever championship. Lonnie Waliczek of Wichita wants number 2. More coming up. marks our final 5 here in Louisville. 17 total titles, 3 majors. The 4th major of our season. Next week, Taylor, Michigan, the PBA World Championship. You can see it live here on ESPN, 12:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 in the morning on the West Coast. You don't want to miss it. It wraps up our exciting 2002-2003 PBA season. Just the facts. 44th annual event for the first time Taylor, Michigan has ever hosted. Third Triple Crown event at 25 qualifying games. Of course, all of the top 8 get themselves to the Super 16. This is the 4th majors we mentioned. Couch, Smith, Walter Ray won the first 3. The TOC in Connecticut, the ABC Masters in Reno, and the US Open in LA, respectively. Next week, we wrap up our year. Arena bowling. Lonnie Waliczek missed the number 8 seed to get into the top 8 and a bid to the Super 16 by some 1,900 points, which equates to 1 match victory at any point of the year. Then he's in. It was that close. So he'll be number 9. Right now, he's concentrating only on a victory in Louisville.
He's jacked up his speed to get that ball to push right. And that ball is rolling right and then actually stopping right in front of the 1-3. Taking a re-rack on the left lane, lane 15. Doesn't really look like he has a favorite, the 2 lanes.
4 total strikes in his 2 games thus far. Looks for his first double of this championship match. Jones is not double either.
And I think he took that re-rack to regroup, give himself a breather to get focused and locked in on this next shot.
He works a lot with a sports psychologist. Saw him talking to himself. A little break as it came in high, still gets all 10 down. He's not happy with it.
Well, he's not happy with it, but what a phenomenal break. Pepin goes to the sidewall, trips the 6-10 out. Oh, you know what? Not happy with the shot. Nobody wants to win like that. You know what? This is a battle. Take what you can get.
Jones works on a spare. 5th frame, down 8 pins. Needs to get going.
Yep, that's fair. He gets
4,
the broke, I get that. Fair.
In his other match, this was the 1 lane that he opened on. This ball just drifts a little bit high and a terrible break, leaving the 4-10.
Well, Jones one of just 4 bowlers to convert the 7-10 spare. Is the 4-10 that much more difficult?
It's easier. Much
takes
easier.
out the
You
4
can
pin.
slide that into the 10.
Yeah. We're coming to you from Louisville, Kentucky. Executive Strike and Spare, the Odor-Eaters Open. Just 1 more stop on the PBA Tours. Next week of the World Championship. Dave and Randy, our entire ESPN PBA crew. World's strongest man from South Africa comes up next. First, though, unfinished business. Determining a champion in Kentucky. 4 pin.
Another pretty good shot, but that one didn't seem like it had quite the loft that the previous shot on the left lane had by Tommy Jones. And that made the ball hook just a little bit sharper in the back part of the lane.
Not a bad ball, though, in response to the open frame in his 5th. Looks for Mark's 6th frame. Overpowers the mark. Now it's Waliczek's 6th frame, up 21. Looks for the 3-bagger. We haven't seen many of those. We have 1 4-bagger all day. That's it. Oh! 7-10, can you believe it?
Jeez. That was almost the lily, the 5-7-10, and the reason why is watch the ball as it rolls out and it stops right before the head. The 1-3, the 5-pin barely gets out of there. Leaves the 7-10. The 2nd time today.
Missed them both. He responds with it open. Jones did it in the 5th frame. A 6th frame open for Waliczek. Randy, how about the mentality of the 2 bowlers? These are young guys. You mentioned the 2 up-and-coming stars on our PBA tour. 1 title between them. Lonnie won in Vegas. How are they dealing with this mental grind today?
Well, it all boils down to ball reaction. Tommy Jones has a great ball reaction. You just can't knock him down. Lonnie Waliczek struggling to get his ball to look right going down the lane. I think it's still advantage Tommy Jones. He needs to regroup from the open frame in the 5th and keep making good shots.
Urging it into the pocket and a 4-pin.
You know, we're bowling on a high friction surface. The lanes have now broken down to the point where you got to heave it, you got to throw it hard, and that's Tommy Jones's wheelhouse.
An open frame there for him. 5-pin lead, Lonnie Waliczek. Tommy Jones of Greenville, South Carolina, works on a spare. With the amateurs in the Odor-Eaters Open here in Louisville. Tony Lambert from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. Ron Russell from Indiana, and Chip from Lexington, Kentucky.
You can see that their averages from league to this pattern is 30 pins a game less.
In the pocket for Jones, he needed that one.
You know, Dave, in the interview that you had prior to the start of this match, you can really sense the confidence of Tommy Jones. He knows he's in his wheelhouse. He's way in. He knows he can throw hard and be aggressive. And that, to me, is that's all the ingredients that Tommy Jones needs to win his first title. Lonnie Waliczek, on the other hand, not real confident with his ball reaction, but because he is now a champion, there is no quit. He's not going away quietly. Lonnie Waliczek's going to fight Tommy Jones to the end.
228 max score for Jones. Strike here. And the 8th is up 5. Come on! He's got it.
Wow, what a great shot in the left lane. Lonnie Waliczek now standing in front of the bar turn like Tommy Jones.
Can you make the proper adjustments?
There you go. Well, great. That's a great adjustment. A little softer with the speed. Get the hand to rotate around a little bit more. Move further in. Give the ball a chance. Watch this. In front of the bar turn like Tommy Jones. In between 5th and 6th arrow. Ball straightens out right in front of the 1-3. Now, the question is, can he get the same reaction on the left lane?
Looks for just his second double of this championship match. Foundation frame time for Waliczek. If he gets it, a 5-pin lead. Jones is working on a double. With the ESPN in sync.
Great shot from Lonnie Waliczek. I told you he's not going away. His experience from television is starting to come into play. He made the adjustments he needed to make to get his ball in the 1-3. As Tommy Jones can only sit and watch. Now, Tommy Jones can strike out 9th, 10th, and 11th to win his first title ever.
Mid for 3-bagger, 9th frame, Jones, 4-pin.
God bless Tommy.
Didn't like it. Didn't get it far enough to the right. 4-pin. The spare here, he's going at 195. Double in the 10th frame. He can shoot 2-0. Now, 3 strikes in the 10th frame. Tommy Jones shoots 205. Lonnie Waliczek would need the first strike in the 10th and count to win.
World's Strongest Man from South Africa comes up next here on ESPN. Tommy speaking a moment ago with Kirk Von Kruger, tournament director, for a reset. We rack that on.
Come on, 2 good ones, make a shot.
Lane 15, left of the TV pair. Waliczek can't even watch. Oh, 10-pin.
Tommy Jones did not make a bad shot this entire game. He's going to shoot 190. Lonnie Waliczek looked like he was dead in the match. Figured out a way to get his ball to the 1-3. Driver's seat. Strike on his fill. It's 194. Lonnie Waliczek needs Good count, the mark. He's going to win his second title of the year. And my predictions will then be kind of like Mr. Blutarski's grade point average in Animal House, 0.0.
0.0. Probably the last time you'll make a prediction like that, I take it. There's Jones in the pocket. He does strike for a 194. Three-bagger possibility now. Waliczek. Randy said he's in command. A mark and good count. All that stands between Lonnie Waliczek and his second title of this season.
What a shot there, Dave Ryan.
Even Tommy Jones can appreciate that.
Take a look at this shot. For the wheat, for the money, perfect. Lonnie Waliczek has come of age. The second season of the new PBA. Only the second two-time winner, Dave Ryan.
Another perfect ball. Lonnie Waliczek.
I don't know how. Thank you.
Got another one.
He has done it. Walter Ray Williams Jr., who certainly will win Player of the Year honors in the PBA Tour this year, is the only other bowler to have won twice. Lonnie Waliczek joins him with his second title of the season. Defeats Tommy Jones in the championship match. 218 to 194 is a champion once again. Lonnie Waliczek had never taken on any of the final four in the TV field until today. He rolls through for his second career title. Congratulations to him. Join us next week on ESPN for the season-ending PBA World Championship. Now stay tuned for the World's Strongest Man competition. Walter Ray Williams Jr. has the march to the PBA World Championship top spot locked up. And they're all trying to get themselves to Taylor next week. World Championship next week, as we said on ESPN, 12:30 Eastern Time. The Strongest Man comes your way right here next on ESPN. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Randy Peterson and the entire crew, it's Dave Ryan saying so long from Louisville. What a moment for Lonnie Waliczek of Wichita.